Welcome back, everybody. This election season has been a tough one. From the race for the White House to local candidates, it's been tense, and some matchups are very close.
Yeah, there's definitely a level of stress that we're feeling as adults, but imagine our little ones and what they're feeling and maybe what they're even hearing in school from their classmates. I experienced something with my son this past Friday, and it really opened up the conversation to what Election Day is about, what opinions are, and how important it is to vote. So how do you broach that topic, that conversation? You know, we always need kind of a guide because we want them to know it's important to vote, and we want them to know how important it is to live in a democracy. That's why we have Phillip Modeen, a Young Minds librarian at the Stetson branch of the New Haven Free Public Library, along with Robert Kinney, the Public Services Administrator for Young Minds and Family Learning at the New Haven Free Public Library, with some great book suggestions here. Thank you so much, gentlemen, for coming on Mommy Monday.
Oh, thank you so much. Yeah, thank you for having us.
I didn't realize that there were this many options.
Oh, there's more.
There are
many, many more.
It's just the tip of the iceberg.
This is just the tip of the iceberg. And there's so many fabulous books and resources we have. This book here, The Walk, we had the League of Women's Voters. They donated 5 copies for each of our locations. And there's a grandmother bringing her granddaughter to cast her vote, and she brings the neighborhood with her along the way. So it's a great, it's beautiful and communal. And then we look at a book like Lillian's Right to Vote, and this shows that we don't want to take voting for granted. It was hard fought, and it wasn't something that was guaranteed to all of us from the beginning.
100%.
So from the 1700s, from when it was just white men who owned property, to the Civil Rights Act of 1965. We look at things like the women's right to vote. There was a Chinese Exclusion Act. There are a lot of amendments that had to be made. Our voices have power, and our vote has power, and we could help shape what this country looks like. And you could pair these great picture books with nonfiction books. So if there's caregivers interested, this is one title in a series, and this is U.S. presidential elections, how they work. And this would be great for your 5-year-old. There's all different books in this series, in this title, and these are all available at the New Haven Free Public Library.
Wow, that's amazing. Again, we need guides sometimes as parents, because I think that sometimes we take for granted, right, what we're doing, and it's just, we've been doing it for so long, but for our children, we're trying to teach them the beginning. And I want people to know, you know, how important it is to lean on your local libraries in these situations, right?
Yeah, we have plenty of resources to help you to talk to your children about the process of voting, because again, it should start early. It should start early, and it's important that children understand that they have a voice at an early age.
Absolutely.
These books are not going to slant you towards one political party or the other, right? They're there to guide you about the whole voting process.
Decisions, caregivers with their children, so you can make decisions for yourself.
Yeah. And a lot of them talk about the process, about going to the polls, like the book that you just mentioned. It talks about the process of going to the polls and what it's like, and the excitement of having your opportunity and your chance to vote. And it gives the kids a lot of that experience of voting. And I think they're really good for that learning process, as you mentioned before.
Yeah. I know my son, he's usually in the car with my husband and would swap to go vote, right? And then he'd see us come out with a sticker. But I think this year I'm going to take him in with me so he can see what I am doing, you know? And I think, again, it's just important to hit home that, everyone has an opinion. And sometimes people don't always agree, but it doesn't take away from our right and our opinion, And
it's okay not to agree, but you do want to make an informed decision.
Yeah, absolutely. Do your research.
We have great resources to help do so.
Is there an age that's too young to talk about? I mean,
we have board books.
Oh, board books.
We have board books for babies. If you look at something here, V is for voting. It's an ABCs to make your voice heard. Yeah, so V is for voting is one, and then if you look, it just goes through the entire alphabet.
That's
so
great.
There's something from babies to older children and teens.
Isn't that incredible?
Yeah, my daughter has a board book with Emmeline Pankhurst in there talking about women's voting, and she knows her name, and I'm like, this is great.
Yes.
So it isn't too young to introduce them to these concepts and these people. They are little sponges, right? They'll soak it in.
The illustrations are really wonderful too.
Beautiful. And to age myself, I'll quote Schoolhouse Rock: "Knowledge is power."
Absolutely.
Stay
How
informed.
wonderful that is. Absolutely gorgeous.
I know. These are such great
Beautiful.
resources. So if we're interested in checking out, your libraries and these sections, do we just go up to a librarian and ask for some help, or do you have some displays in some areas?
There's display. Oh, I'm sorry. Robert.
Yeah. Oh no,
Yeah.
go ahead. Yeah. We have displays in a lot of our branches and also in our main branch. So at this time of the year, we're trying to make it an initiative to show children and just to show the whole library and patrons the importance of voting. So you could probably walk into any one of our branches and see a display and really check out something.
Well, get out the vote.
And e-resources too. So we do want to say that in the state of Connecticut, you could still register at your polling place. And if you go onto our website, nhfpl.org, go into the search bar. There's two options: one for website, one for catalog. On the website, if you type in voting, you get a whole bunch more resources.
Terrific.
That's
Thank you,
wonderful.
gentlemen.
Thank you so much for coming on. This
I
was so
appreciate it so
helpful
much.
for
Leave
parents.
the books behind. I want to read them.
I know,
You have to
seriously.
check 'em out.
I
Come and
gotta
visit
check
us.
this out
Yeah.
for
All
sure.
right, what movie ended up at
Appreciate
the
it.
top of the box office this weekend? Renee's here with the wrap-up.